Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad to be joining the World Assembly virtually in order to apprise you and update you about what we, the representatives for OMEP, that serve OMEP at the United Nations actually do, and what we have done in the preceding year. We have 6 representatives. Our main representative is Pia Belloni. And I have to give my own claps to her, and I hope you join me as our main representative. Pia Belloni is a worker bee. She has done so much work to build our visibility in the United Nations. She is our main representative. My name is Donna Akilah, Wright, and I am one of the alternative representatives, and I'm the chief administrator. So my job is to make sure that reports are done, to keep an idea of what everyone is doing. And then thereafter, we have other representatives who are Kimberly Ann Kopko, Patricia Hanley, and Jessica Essary. Their job is to support whatever work we each are doing. So they attend meetings, they help in the planning of side events, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Worker bees. And our job at the United Nations is to support OMEP's initiatives. And OMEP's initiatives, of course, are around early childhood. But because early childhood is our future, there really isn't any initiative at the United Nations that does not impact children, whether it's mining, whether it's climate, whether it's saving whales. I mean, everything impacts children. And what is the nice thing about OMEP? We're in a position to always ask and demand that our society protects the most vulnerable children, their siblings, and of course their families, because children are not just an individual unit. They always come packaged, if you will, with families, siblings, etc. So that's what we do. OMEP is part of what we call the Interagency UN Program. We're a non-governmental organization, and as such, in working with United Nations Interagency Program, we partner with them to help them to realize their mandate of developing constructive relations between the United Nations and civil society, which means the rest of us. Some of the things that OMEP has done is that, again, we strengthen our visibility and our credibility. We work with influential stakeholders, including missions, to better support advocacy on the part of early childhood. Some information about the individual members are some background information. Pia Belloni, she works primarily with the Committee on Migration, and a number of us work on that organization as well in the different subcommittees in order to support her efforts. And that's the key thing. We work to support what everyone, what each of us is doing. Pia Belloni is retired professor of European Union law. She's well published. She is an absolute advocate for our children, especially our migrant children. Then you have me, Donna Akilah, am Wright. I'm an associate professor with the Department of Development and Special Education at the City University of New York, Medgar Evers College. I was a former chair and assessment coordinator. I've worked internationally as a consultant for early childhood, as well as for older children. Jessica Essary is also an associate professor of education in the Inclusive Education Program. She serves as its director at Casanova College. She serves on a number of committees as well. And again, we work hand in hand. We have Kimberly Kopko. She received a PhD in child development from the Department of Human Development at Cornell University, and she joined the Department of Policy, Analysis, and Management in the College of Human Ecology. We have Patricia Hanley. She's the Director of Child Development Institute at Sarah Lawrence College. There, she develops programs for early childhood and elementary school teachers, administrators, and child development professionals. And we all share what? We all share advocacy on behalf of OMEP. We want it to be that when a society asks itself, how are you doing? They immediately go to the youngest and to families, and they temper their decision or their conclusion of how the society is doing based upon how are the children doing. And that's the most important thing that we try to do at OMEP in terms of serving as United Nations representatives. In 2020, some of the major initiatives that we did was that we participated in the organization in cooperation with United Nations bodies of an initiative that was a global call to action in response to COVID-19. We organized virtual meetings with United Nations permanent missions to support global initiatives and OMEP developed dialogues with permanent missions. We also organized side events to support education and care of vulnerable young migrant children and their families. We also was a signature on outcome documents. Outcome documents are things such as letters and statements. And sometimes these statements are joined to particular days like the International Day of the Child, etc. We also collaborated with United Nations committees on non-governmental organizations to support global principles and initiatives, such as the advocacy for young children and their families, in working with the American Psychological Association of the United Nations. We have attended monthly meetings with UNICEF, and we're going to try to strengthen those organizations. We attend meetings with the executive board, our executive body of non-governmental organizations known as Congo. And we also, as we said before, assumed leadership roles, not only just on the Committee on Migration, but I was also on the executive committee on the Education, Language, and Literacy. I served as the treasurer. And those things are extremely important because that increases our visibility. The most important thing that we also want to tell you in terms of how you can assist us at United Nations is to make your causes visible. Let us know what you're doing. Give voice and give stories to some of this work that I've talked about: migration, work with women, work with families, of course, anything dealing with early childhood. You can help us to contextualize the data that we have. Anyway, I know that I'll put up my two hands, hand in hand, us working together for the children of the world will mean a better and brighter future for our collective tomorrow. Thank you so much again for this opportunity.